everyone, it's Jason from Pro Guitar Studio. Today we're going to take a look at some punk rock power chords, and specifically these are more like pop punk style power chords, but whatever style of punk you're playing, this is all going to be applicable. Okay, so we're going to start off with the power chord progression that you just heard, as well as the lead guitar line. So the lead lines I put on top of it were created after the progression was built, and once I have the melody in place, I harmonize it. And I'll just go over a bit of that just so you can understand what's happening there. But the most important part here is that it's a lot of fun to play, and I'm hoping to get you playing some power chords. So to jump right in here, the first chord that I actually played was a B5 power chord. So we need to play the 7th fret on the low E string and the 9th fret on the A string, okay? Now for the chords, all I'm doing is down picks. So I'm literally just using down, 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 down the whole way through, with an extra up strum as I switch, and I'll show you that in a second. So for the first chord, the B5 power chord, I'm going to strum twice. And then I'm going to relax the fingers and basically do a dead strum, okay? So, and I'm doing that so I can maneuver down to the next chord. And then we're going to start on the 4th fret, string 6. This is a G sharp power chord. And we can call it a G sharp 5. So 4th fret and 6th fret we're going to play here. So G sharp and D sharp. Now we're going to strum that first strum. It's going to be off beat because we have like 1 and 2 and 3 and. So 3 strums in the G sharp. 1 and 2 and 3 and. And then we're going to come down to the 2nd fret. Same thing, dead strum in between. 3 times on the F sharp. So F sharp and C sharp, 2nd and 4th fret. Dead strum. And then the open and 2nd fret. So E and B. So an E5. So B5, G sharp 5, F sharp 5, E5. And I come up again, I start early, right? So I come in an 8th note ahead of time. So same idea here. So 3 times that time on the B5, 3 times again on G sharp, and then F sharp we're going to double up. Okay, so twice in a row on that one. And then we're going to do the first part again. And then we're going to go to the 4th fret on the A string. So C sharp with a G sharp on top. So, okay, and this one I'm strum down, 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 down. All right, now you can change the rhythm up a little bit here. So we're from down, 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 down on the E. So we're going to come a bit early to the E chord. Now this kind of strum here, you could also do down and up strums for this. It can make more sense sometimes, but if you want to keep consistent with everything else. Alright, so on the E chord, down, 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 down. Or down, 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 up, down, up, up, down, up, down. Now you can kick it off again, right? Keep going. So if you slow it down. All right, now you might have noticed in there that I do actually also use my pinky finger sometimes, and basically this is the same thing. We're playing a B5, you can do a 2-finger version, but if you're comfortable adding the pinky finger, it makes it a little fuller. Versus, so same deal, it's the same chord name, we just have to add an extra root note on top, okay? So we're going 7, 9, and 9, and we follow the same thing all the way down. It's the pinky finger right underneath your ring finger. So you can do that for any power chord. Now the cool thing about power chords like this, they're shiftable, they're movable. If you're doing a punk rock or pop punk power chord progression, everything can be down strums, or you can strum down and up. And really what you're looking to do is keep that shape all the way throughout the fretboard, okay? And the only thing that makes it this, we'll call it like pop punk, is the rhythm here. You can use this for any style of music though. You can slow it down, make it It could be rock, it could be whatever you want it to be. So that's the progression, the power chord progression. Now to have some fun on top, I thought I'd get into an actual lead guitar part because the power chord part of this is pretty simple. And there's not too much we can talk about really until you can play those chords. But the same theory would apply, like what keys these chords belong in. We're just not playing a major or minor third. So the power chords are neutral. They're completely neutral. They're not major, they're not minor, but the progression we play will imply whether they're major or minor. So on top of that, I'm using the B major scale to do this. I guess mostly B major pentatonic. But I'm starting off with the 8th fret on string number 3, 8th fret on the G string. And that note there is a D sharp. And I'm going to bend it up, return it, bend up and return it. Okay? And I have a good amount of gain on there for the recording. Then I'm playing the C sharp, so 6th fret, and then the B, which is the 4th fret. Back to C sharp to D sharp. So that D sharp, I'm bending up a semitone to an E. That's a major third. Then after that, I go 6th fret on string number 4. So that's a G sharp to an F sharp, which is the 4th fret. Twice in a row. Alright, second time, same phrase to start off. And I hammer on from the 7th fret, string number 2, to the 9th fret. Okay, so we have an F sharp to a G sharp, back to an F sharp. Third phrase is the same as the first one. And then the final phrase, the finale, we're going to bend the D sharp on string 5 to an E. Sounds a little funny when I do it like that, but you go bend that note to the E note, back to the D sharp, C sharp, which is the 4th fret, and then B, C sharp, B, 2, 4, 2. So you have and some vibrato on that last note can make it really fun. Okay, so that is our main melody on top there. For all students here, under premium content in your student account, you can find all the notes for that, and you can see exactly which notes I'm playing, so it might be easier to follow on the tablature. But the harmony on top makes it sound really cool. So I think that's my favorite part, is adding the harmony on top. And I'm just taking the same kind of idea, same kind of approach in terms of the rhythm and everything, but we're playing harmony. So mostly I'm using major or minor thirds. I don't want to get too far into the harmony theory here. We can talk about it as we go through each note, but we're starting off with major or minor thirds, following it in a parallel form, which means following the notes of the original phrase. So we're going to bend the F sharp on string number 2, a full tone. So we're following this diatonically, which means in key. So we need to make sure we go from F sharp to a G sharp to follow this key of B major. Twice in a row. All right, so we have F sharp to G sharp, bend up and down twice. E, D sharp, so 5, 4. And then E, F sharp, so 5, 7. And this one right here, this is a 4th interval, okay? But this ends up on this E chord. This sounds really cool. So we're gonna go C sharp, B, C sharp, B. All right, so those two notes there. Changes the harmony feel instead of the... I think it sounds really cool. And then the first phrase again, right? And then for the harmony, I'm doing the same idea. 4th intervals on the F sharp. So 7th fret, string number 1 to the 9th fret, string number 1, which is B to C sharp. So I do a hammer on from B to C sharp, back to B. Okay? Third phrase is the same as the first one. 4th phrase, follows along like the first phrase, I guess third intervals. It's the first phrase, except for the very last note. So we're going to play a G sharp, which follows that bending to the E note. So then we're going to go to an F sharp, an E. Then D sharp, so first fret. And at the end, we're going to play the E note twice, even though the last note is a B. We're going to finish with that harmony because it ends with an E chord. So that fourth interval harmony will sound much better than going back to D sharp. It just won't sound that nice. So because it lines up in the chord. Otherwise, it's like this. It doesn't sound that nice. So sometimes you have to play with those harmonies. If you use third intervals, if you counter those with fourth intervals at certain times, it can sound really cool. But obviously, there's other intervals you can do. You don't have to follow a parallel form like I'm doing. I just think this sounds very catchy. If we're following along with like pop punk, that's exactly what we're looking for, is that parallel harmony. And so a lot of those bands you might remember from back in like the late 90s, early 2000s would do that same kind of stuff. So third interval harmonies. I mean, it goes way back to like Iron Maiden stuff, which is metal, but those third interval harmonies are really where it's at. So the harmony part again, just to finish off. And then, all right, so it sounds really cool when you put that all together. It's a lot of fun today. I mean, most importantly, I wanted to get you some fun power chords to play with. If you like playing that lead guitar line, it's a lot of fun too. In the description of this video, you'll be able to see a link to the recording of this, so if you want to play along with that, have some fun. But yeah, let me know what you think about this. This is just more of a fun lesson today, focusing on power chords, but I had to add something else. I couldn't just do the power chords. I mean, power chords are a lot of fun, but to make it more interesting for me and for you, I had to add the lead guitar part in. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe, more videos coming each week. And if you have any suggestions on what you want to learn, please feel free to let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you soon.